Disturbing Facts About History. Part 11. Being buried alive in the 19th century. The fear of being buried alive, known as taphophobia, was a prevalent anxiety in the 19th century. This fear stemmed from the limited understanding of death, and the lack of reliable methods to determine if someone was truly deceased. Furthermore, many people died at home and were pronounced dead by family rather than medical professionals. This lack of a confirmation system made it difficult to determine if someone was truly dead. The widespread fear of premature burial led to the invention of safety coffins, which were designed to allow a person buried alive to signal for help. Early designs included a simple string tied to the deceased's finger that would ring a bell above ground. Just like the story of a boy buried in a shallow mass grave during the Irish famine, and later found alive after grave diggers struck his legs with a spade. Disturbing Facts About History. Part 12. A movie scene from the 1980s is using the real human skeleton instead of realistic fake. The 1982 movie, Poltergeist, was known for its using real human skeleton in its scene. In one famous scene, where lead actress Jo Beth Williams falls into a pool of muddy water and is immediately set upon by angry demonic skeletons. Williams is unaware that the skeletons had once been inside a living human body until after the movie. She later learned about it from a special effects artist, and she said that, if she knows if that were real human skeleton, she would scream a lot. The reason that real skeletons were used in the movie is because it was actually cheaper and more cost-effective than creating and using plastic fake ones, and claims that Poltergeist was certainly not the first low-budget horror film to use real human remains. Disturbing Facts About History. Part 13. During World War II, Joseph Mengele, infamously known as the Angel of Death, conducted horrific experiments on twins during his time at Auschwitz concentration camp. Joseph Rudolf Mengele was a German officer and physician during World War II, at Auschwitz during the Holocaust, where he was nicknamed the Angel of Death. Mengele's fascination with twins was driven by his belief that they could be used to manipulate genetic traits to Nazi racial purity. Twins were subjected to inhumane procedures, including injections, surgeries without anesthesia, and exposure to diseases. One twin was used as a control, and if one died, the other was killed for comparative autopsies. One of the survivor-like Eva Moses Corps have shared their harrowing experiences, shedding light on the suffering endured by the victims. Mengele's actions have been widely condemned as war crimes, and his experiments remain a reminder of the dangers of unethical science. Disturbing Facts About History. Part 14. The Cambodian genocide, led by Pol Pot, resulted in the deaths of 1.5 to 2 million Cambodians from 1975 to 1979, or nearly 25% of the country's population. Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge envisioned a utopian society, based on ultra-Maoism principles, emphasizing reliance on agricultural production. They forced city dwellers to work as forced labor in the countryside, leading to mass death from starvation. The regime abolished money, private property, and education. The Khmers executed religious and ethnic minorities, including also the educated professionals, and people who wearing glasses is also killed. The killing fields were notorious for their torture, shooting, and stabbing the victims, and infants often killed by smashing through tree trunk, believing that they can't take revenge to government. The Khmer Rouge was removed from power when Vietnam invaded in 1979. Disturbing Facts About History. Part 15. Vlad the Impaler, often known as Vlad III Dracula, was infamous for his brutality during his ruling in Wallachia in the 15th century. One of his execution technique was impalement, a gory custom in which captives were punctured with stake, resulting in tortuous deaths, giving the name being Vlad the Impaler. His technique served as a weapon to instill fear among his enemies. In 1462, during the Ottoman Empire conflict, Sultan Mehmed II encountered a forest of impaled corpses. Around 20,000 Ottoman prisoners were impaled, including women and children, as part of a macabre display to demoralize the invading forces. Vlad's reign was marked by terror acts, including the impaling of Saxon merchants, and the execution of corrupt or disloyal local nobility. His ruthless tactics have contributed to the legend of Dracula, and solidified his reputation as one of history's most brutal ruler. Disturbing Facts About History. Part 16. The baby cages, designed from the 1920s to 1950s, were wire mesh structures hung outside apartment windows to provide fresh air and sunlight to babies. In crowded urban areas, many families lacked in gardens or balconies. Inspired by early 20th century health movements, they believed the benefits of fresh air for child development and disease prevention, and baby cages became a practical solution. They were often promoted by health organizations like the Chelsea Baby Club, who believed exposure to outdoor air would improve babies' immune systems. These cages could be suspended several stories high, raising concerns about child safety. Though they provided a unique way for urban parents to meet health advice of the time, baby cages eventually fell out of favor as parenting norms and safety standards evolved. Today, they are often remembered as a strange and controversial piece of parenting history. Disturbing Facts About History. Part 17. In 1726, Mary Toft from Godalming, England, claimed she gave birth to rabbits, surprising the public and medical community. After a miscarriage, she began passing animal parts, convincing local doctor that she was giving birth to animals. But another doctor became suspicious when he found straw inside the rabbits, showing they had eaten, which meant they were not newborns. Mary was taken to London and closely watched. When a man was caught sneaking rabbits into her room, she confessed it was all fake. She said she and others had inserted rabbit parts into her to fool people. She was charged as an imposter, imprisoned for months, then quietly released without formal punishment. The scandal embarrassed the medical profession and exposed beliefs in maternal impression, the idea that a mother's thoughts could affect unborn children. Disturbing Facts About History. Part 18. The Bata and Death March was a tragic event during World War II in the Philippines, beginning in April 1942 after the surrender of Bata into Japanese forces. Around 76,000 Filipino and American soldiers became prisoners of war, and were forced to march approximately 65 miles from Marivel's Bata and to Camp O'Donnell in Tarlac. The march occurred under extreme heat, with insufficient food and water. Prisoners who collapsed were beaten or shot by Japanese guards. The journey lasted 5 to 10 days, and it's estimated that around 10,000 Filipino and 650 American soldiers died due to exhaustion and abuse. Survivors endured further suffering in prison camps after the march. The Bata and Death March is considered one of the worst war crimes committed by Japanese forces. The event is now commemorated annually in both the Philippines and the US, as a symbol of bravery and sacrifice. Disturbing Facts About History. Part 19. Margaret Pole, Countess of Salisbury, was executed on May 27, 1541, at age 67 under the orders of King Henry VIII. She was accused of treason based on weak evidence. Her death was one of the most disturbing executions in Tudor history. She was dragged to the execution block at the Tower of London and denied a final speech. The inexperienced executioner failed to deliver a clean blow, missing her neck. Accounts say Margaret attempted to flee, shouting, "I am no traitor," as the executioner chased her, striking her 11 times, before finally killing her. Her body was left mutilated, a gruesome end that appalled many even in a brutal era. Historians believe her execution was politically motivated, targeting her powerful Plantagenet lineage. She was later beatified by Pope Leo XIII in 1886, recognized as a martyr of the English Reformation. Disturbing Facts About History. Part 20. The Champawat tiger, was a Bengal tigress, is responsible for one of the deadliest man-eating sprees in recorded history, killing an estimated 436 people in Nepal and India, during the late 1800s and early 1900s. Initially active in Nepal, she was driven into India after the Nepalese army failed to kill her. She terrorized villages in the Champawat district of Uttarakhand, preying mostly on women and children. An autopsy later revealed that her canines were broken, likely from a prior gunshot wound, which made it difficult to hunt wild animals, forcing her to prey humans. The tigress was finally killed in 1907 by hunter Jim Corbett. He documented the incident in his book, Man-Eaters of Kumaon. The skull of the Champawat tiger is preserved at the Natural History Museum in London.